Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show this morning. It is Michelle Bryant. Say something real here at WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Ah, man, I am so tired. I am so tired that I can't believe I'm sitting at this mic. I'm cross-eyed, but a lot has been accomplished, so I guess that's a good tired. What's happening, K Sweezy? How you doing this morning, bro?
I'm kind of in the middle, just floating, man. Listen.
Float on, float on.
I don't think that's the song. I gotta find another one.
Float on.
You know how you tired and energized at the same time? It's confusion.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
I'm there. I got that. What's happening, young Harvey? How you doing this morning? You know, this the
now he sound
the
tired.
brother put us up on game. Say what?
He sound tired.
Does he sound tired?
Yeah, what's that?
He always sound like
right. No. Got some youthful energy most of the time.
He always sound like an old man. Yeah. All right, family, a ton to get to. But first of all, let me just take a second to say, well, wait, your weekend, what'd you do?
Oh, God.
You good?
Oh, God.
Did you get in trouble? I ain't read about you. I ain't get no text messages. And I didn't have to post no bail. So it was a good weekend.
It's a beautiful morning.
Come on
so
now.
Let me tell you, aside of, my body getting used to meds, my Friday started real crazy.
I almost started singing the wrong song.
No. No, this is crazy.
Your body's here.
Oh, God.
I told you. It came up as soon as you said my body.
I'm trying to see who this cat is.
He's about to make me sing the wrong song this morning.
Your body.
See, you get caught up. Get out of it.
I wasn't even there.
Come out of there.
So, Friday started kind of rough, man. But, I got, there was a gala this weekend that, I didn't even know I was going to make it because my body
Wisconsin Voices.
So let me tell you.
Which I did make because I had to do some work. But go ahead.
Let me tell you. So if you want to talk about last minute Johnny.
I heard you was clean though.
That's cool. But it's getting there. That was the story. Like from the sleep at the barbershop to having to leave right before my space to do something else to waiting to going back to sleep at the barbershop to getting to the store to get the shoes.
But I heard you was clean now.
Well, the closet is we'll talk about. Well,
I'm just saying, what's all this?
So listen,
cheesing and head to the side.
Because it's been coming. It's been coming.
Bruh.
It's been coming.
I heard you was clean. Keep going.
That's cool. That's cool.
Do I need to know something specific about this whole story?
I walked in the door late, right? And I walked into the Bavarian beer house. I never been there before.
Okay.
And I saw somebody, and I'm waving, and they did this crazy hand signal like SOS. And I'm like, what the hell? Then I saw Tamika, and she got to doing it. And I'm like, what the? So I started taking my coat off, and all of a sudden I heard, damn, Keon is here. And I said, what? And everybody looked through this doorway, and the crowd went wild like an NBA three-point game
Did
shot.
they go wild?
And I was like, what is this?
Did they go wild?
They went wild, just blew my mind. And I still got one arm in my coat, trying to get into the room. And I guess.
So you said all that to say
I got an award
that
I didn't know I was getting.
Didn't nobody bother to call you and tell you should at least be there? Or did they tell you to be there?
Well, folks always
be there.
Folks always be like,
but they told you to be there.
No, they said, you should really try to come. And
So try to come versus you need to be there.
Nobody ever said you need to be there. Yeah.
They said you should try.
For about 2 weeks, you should really come to the gala.
Would have served Tamika right.
So, yeah, but you
served her right. Well, congratulations. What was the award for?
Community building. I'm gonna tell you the whole ambiance, like that with what you go through in life, just that shocked me. And then when I got through there, my guy was standing up there. I guess they were presenting him with the award when I walked in the door.
Which guy?
Brandon Triggs from Helping Kids Better Themselves. He's under the Village Group, used to be on the Man Show. They do the basketball camp, the Promise Keepers, Atkinson Avenue. And I couldn't really see. So I didn't even know it was him. He ran up and grabbed me and said, dude, I ain't never expected nothing like this in my life. So I guess he was part of the story. I didn't get to see the presentation before, but it was just amazing. It was wonderful. I got covered with love. And so that just set off the weekend and the energy. You know how I try to run.
Congratulations, bro.
Then
well deserved.
Then
yes.
I tried to call you the next day.
I actually
I just remembered. I had to remember what happened.
Okay.
I got so energized.
You tried to call me. What happened?
But you ain't answer. So
why you gotta say all of that?
yeah, you just asked me this morning. You just said that.
I know, like I just saw that you had tried to call.
You just saw?
I saw it this morning.
One love, let's get together and be all right. The Bob Marley movie was amazing.
You saw it, Carmen. You saw it too, right? Yeah.
So
Carmen said it was hot.
Up top, huh?
Yeah, I said Carmen said it was hot.
So Carvey said it was hot, and then we had another caller that that was like she didn't really know him and still didn't know who he was. So it's one of those movies where if you already helped to Bob, it really is like 74 till his death. The peace concert where the politicians like suckered him and he ended up getting shot. So it's not the 15 years before that. It's not like a biopic,
right?
But it was it's
a period piece.
It's a period piece, right. And it was amazing. It was phenomenal. Man, it's
okay. Well, I got a lot of stuff on my list that I have to do. Checking out the Bob Marley flick is certainly one of them. But so I knew you was getting an award. So,
yeah, I knew you did.
So congratulations, my brother.
You know what? A hit was when I told you I needed some square toes, and you was like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I just appreciate the
almost
work
missed it
that they do at Wisconsin Voices, honoring people that's out here on the grind every day, lay folks, a lot of the same names you hear get awards, right. And you like, come on, y'all. I know it's more people out here doing stuff, but same names all the time for the same, kinds of awards. And and what it does for people who are out here doing that work to be acknowledged, for somebody just to look up. I don't need anything from you today. I'm just here to uplift you. I'm just here to say thank you. It means a whole lot.
I truly got it. I really appreciate Tamika Vukovic, the whole Wisconsin Voices family and partners. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the partners I've been working with throughout the years, but she's very supportive just of me, not even the work, just of me personally.
Okay, she's a rock star. Moving on.
She is.
Moving on. Tamika got all of that.
But let me tell
moving on.
It was so beautiful because behind me was the main track, Von Mays, but ahead of me was Jeanette Herrera.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk about give her award, give her roses, like for real. Like you said, I mean, so
I was somewhere last year when Jeanette Herrera got an award, and she was the worst person to give an award.
Hey, but she get it because
she
like Little Richard. It's like giving Little Richard an award.
All right. Like, don't be rushing people through the moment. Take the award, Negro.
But it's like Little Richard.
Terrible giving it award. And then she go from that to over emotion, and she's thank you, thank you.
You be like, shut up.
Yeah, I'm like,
I did it.
Jeanette Herrera ain't getting no award.
But for me, that was cool because these people have been, in my life so heavy and so strong. So that was cool.
Well, wonderful. Well,
yeah, so when you giving me my award?
On the other, you ain't got nothing coming from me, player.
I mean,
nobody gave me an award this
weekend.
I want to be clear. No one gave me an award this weekend. I guess I should do some work. That's how you get them.
No.
But I did go to the NAACP meeting this past Saturday. It was a packed general membership meeting. It was like more people there than I've seen in a long time. Packed general membership meeting. The superintendent of Milwaukee Public School Districts was in the building, Dr. Keith Posley, president of the Milwaukee School Board, Ms. Herndon or Director Herndon, Marva Herndon, and I always say her last name wrong.
I say, where you get the A from?
I always say her last name wrong. Herndon, I think.
It's like cornflakes.
And School Board Director Aisha Carr. They were both in the building. And there was a robust conversation regarding the SROs, the safety resource officers, i.e. police officers that the Republican legislature has mandated be placed only in Milwaukee Public Schools. We were the only school district in which the Republican-led legislature decided that they must have police back in their schools, even though the school board voted to terminate their contract with MPD. And it's an unfunded mandate, so 25 officers need to be hired, placed into the school, or, brought in, placed into the school. And the police department is looking like, we don't have that. We don't have that money. And MPS is like, we don't have that money. And it's just amazing that the state can tell you that you have to do something that comes with this kind of price tag, because this is over $1 million that comes with this kind of price tag annually. And don't nobody tell you how you're supposed to pay for it. So Superintendent Posley and both school board directors spoke to the issues and concerns. I'm gonna tell you too, there was a moment when a member of the audience stood up and he blasted Keith Posley and asked why he didn't step down, and talked about, we got all these other issues going on in the school district. Anybody that's entertaining this, basically, you're not doing your job. He said some more stuff, but it was just like this real raggedy moment. Because number one, we were there to discuss school resource officers. There are numerous times to be able to address Posley, if you need to do so, and talk about the district and the needs of the district. To also be fair, that district has had issues for years and years and years. It didn't just happen on one person's watch, and it's not just one person's responsibility. So how do we begin to fix some of the pieces that are broken with the district? And I just kind of watched and I was like, man, must people forever grandstand? Like, eh, eh, this is not the meeting where you come to ask somebody to step down and try to rile up the base and get people going. And, next we're going to throw eggs at the superintendent. I was like, hey, come on with that. I'm just saying, fam, like, come on, bruh. But I just don't also like that people try to make the failure or the problems of a district one person's load to carry. It's not. In addition to what administrators are doing, what the board is doing, what actual educators are doing in these classrooms, what parents are doing, we also have to ask what the community is doing. Right. Everybody got their hands in this pie. Everybody got a piece, that we can claim and we can play and what we can do to be supportive. And I know, when people talk about who's at the school board meetings, who's keeping up with what's going on in individual schools. And so many of us, we'd rather just take our kids out of the district and run across town to the south side because you think that white ice is colder and, their schools are better, their schools are safer, their schools it is. But I tell people all the time, because people work to make them schools like that. We should be doing the same work on the north side. My child shouldn't have to get up an hour and a half earlier to drive all the way to the south side of Milwaukee because I believe that's the only place for you to get a quality education. And then in the meantime, we got more vacant buildings on the north side. Schools are closing up. Achievement levels are, we are underperforming, but we steady trying to run. Just like I say, when people want to like, oh, I got to move to Atlanta. I got to move to Houston because they got it popping. Make your own city pop. Do the work. Do the work. Because somebody did the work, but we want to go and benefit and reap the kicking it and the gains from somebody else's work. Do the work, man. You want a hot city, make it a hot city. You want a city that's responsive, elect people that's responsive. If you don't like them, run against them and push them out of office. Speaking of which, early voting has ended, and tomorrow is the primary. We are doing Election Central here at the radio station. There will be, our regular programming throughout the day. And then at 4:00, I think it is, I'm actually going to join Qua on his show last hour. And then we'll go straight until 8:00 p.m. To have folks in to talk about the election and to hopefully motivate some people to get out and be a part of the process. So that was a mouthful, but it was all necessary. All right, let me take a quick second for Black History Month. I want to mention something. Hopefully, you guys will take an opportunity to check it out. So, my man Tremaine Lee, who has a podcast, and if you've never listened to his podcast, you are missing some good stuff. Let me just say it like that. He is his topics into America. He goes everywhere. There's no subject matter he won't address or cover. I encourage you to check out Tremaine Lee's podcast. But he is doing a podcast right now on the issue of reparations, if you will. So a lot of people, when we talk about the freeing of enslaved people, rarely do we use the word manumission. Okay. But manumission is just another way to talk about freeing enslaved people. So there was this period as we were looking at the Civil War and, before the Civil War and people trying to figure out a way to deal with with I'm trying to figure out a way to deal with slavery. There was this thing called compensated emancipation. This is our Black History moment, since we're still in the month of February. But there was this thing called compensated emancipation. Say it again. Compensated emancipation. Most of us know the word compensated. We know what it means. That somebody is about to be paid some money. Emancipation, the act of freeing. So somebody getting ready to be paid for slavery ending. And there were people paid in the United States of America for slavery ending. Those people were white people who were slaveholders. They were paid for the loss of the money that they had spent on enslaved people, stealing their free labor. Stealing their labor, stealing their children. Y'all know what happened. But these people were compensated. That was one of the ways to kind of minimize the loss of life, because people was, fighting and at war about what should happen. And the South didn't want to relinquish slavery. They didn't want to relinquish enslaved people. They thought that they truly had a right to own these Black people. And so one of the ways to do that was to give people cash for the slaves' market value. Say that again. They wanted to be paid. So, I got Michelle. She is of breeding age. She is, capable of doing X amount of hours in the field. She is probably worth about $135 to me back then as an enslaved person. So, one of the things that we saw happen is that people were actually compensated. There is an African American man. So just first of all, and we've heard this before when we talked about Haiti, and that white folks who had people of Haitian descent enslaved, they were paid, and those payments actually went up until about 10 years ago to pay for the freedom of these Haitians that were enslaved. Like they were still paying up until about 10 years ago to white folks who had enslaved them. Can you think about that? That the person who has been violated in every possible way known to mankind, I'm going to not get paid, but my abuser gets paid. Okay. But there was one brother by the name of Gabriel Coakley, and Tremaine Lee's podcast this week or the next month or so, it'll be available. You can pull it up anytime now that is posted. Gabriel Coakley was an African-American man who owned enslaved people. Gabriel Coakley was because like the Republicans and a lot of white people like to say, oh, Black people own slaves too. But see, one element of that they never discuss is Black people bought the freedom of their wives, their husbands, their children, their sisters, brothers, family members. So yes, there were Black people that owned slaves, if you will, but they had bought their freedom. And Gabriel Coakley was so cold with his that he not only bought the freedom of his wife and his children, he never ever listed them as free people. They stayed under his ownership. So Ann Coakley, who was described in the sale as brown complexion, 5'2" high. Mary Albright is Mary Coakley, a mulatto. Mary Ann, a yellow complexion, is 11 years old. Sophia, of yellow complexion, is about 9.5 years old. Veronica, of yellow complexion, y'all let us yellow complexion. Yellow complexion is about 7 years of age. Genova is a yellow complexion, 5.5 years old. Sarah, yellow complexion, 3 years old. Gertrude, yellow complexion, 1.5 years old. There are no marks on either of these persons, but Mary Ann does have a scar, blah, blah, blah. Like they go through the whole thing and list out what each of these enslaved people were, who they were, what they looked like, how much he paid for each one of them. He never, ever listed them like, now that I've bought them, I'm going to free them. Because if anything jumped off, he understood that he had legally purchased their freedom. And if anybody was like, "Oh, we putting free people back in slavery," he could say, "No, no, 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 I own them." So see, that's that other part when some of the callers to our show, well, it's black people that had slaves too. Yes, we do. Because some of them were savvy and smart enough to understand, if I own my family members legally, you can't come get them. So when we go through the compensated emancipation, Gabriel Coakley petitions the court to receive reparations for the amount of money he paid for his relatives. Did you hear what I just said? White folks lost their mind. But he said, just like you, I own enslaved people. I'm going to need all my bread for their market value. And what he paid for the 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 11-year-old, significantly less for their market value. Because 1, 3, 7, 11, you got your whole life to be a slave. You got your whole life to work in the field. I got to take a break. If you do nothing else, check out Tremaine Lee's podcast. Look up Brother Gabriel Coakley. And the next time somebody tell you black people own slaves, put them up on game. They did. And let me tell you why. I got to take a break. I'll be right back. All right, family, welcome back to the show. So a couple things I want to mention before I get into some of the stories that have had people talking for the last few days. There are moments when I truly hate I don't do a Friday show because everything just be breaking on Thursday. Like, okay, you got to wait 3 days to talk about this. And by the time you get to it, it's going to feel like it's old news. But we're going to cover some of it anyway. But before I do that, first of all, I want to thank a sister that listens to the show. I call her Miss Polly. Miss Polly over at Union Hill Baptist Church made sure that she shared something with me that she wanted to make sure that other seniors in the community knew about. So there's a program that Milwaukee County has called Dine Out. This program is for those folks that are 60 and up, and they are able to go to local restaurants that offer senior dining menus. Okay. Diners can choose from delicious and culturally diverse options while supporting minority owned businesses. So the restaurants that seniors can go to: Rise and Grind, which is over on MLK Drive. And I'm not sure how to pronounce this. I think it's Orinda. It is on National Avenue. Antigua on National Avenue, and Daddy Soul Food and Grill over off of 27th Street. Now, no reservations are required. It's first come, first serve. As long as you are 60 and up, you can go any day, Monday through Thursday, between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. at two of the restaurants, Rise and Grind and Orinda, to get breakfast. Or you can go from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Wednesdays and Thursdays at Daddy Soul Food and Antigua and get lunch. But it's the coolest thing that they literally have a menu that's available. Again, all you got to do is be 60 and up and say that I'd like to come for the senior meal through the county. Sit down. They have a menu that you order from. And remember, you can't just, there's certain things on the menu for that particular program, because y'all know some menu items can be way more costly than others. But whatever the selections are, they are wonderful selections. And literally, you get your boys who typically meet up at McDonald's, get your girls group, your women's circle, whatever, and go and have breakfast or lunch at one of these restaurants. No charge. People do ask you to consider making a donation. If you leave them a few dollars on the table, great, but you don't have to. It's not required. But in order to keep they said the suggested contribution is only $3. So, like, if you've ever had Daddy Soul Food on 27th Street, yeah, number one, I think you might be getting something to drink for $3 out of there, but the quality of the food is excellent. And so I encourage people in our community to please consider doing this. It is a way to help support minority-owned business and a way for you not to have to pay every time you want to go out and get a meal. It's a cool program. I am so thrilled that Milwaukee County is doing this. And so I'll try to mention it again to remind people. But Rise and Grind Cafe, Daddy Soul Food, Antigua, Orinda, there are places that you can go to be able to enjoy these meals. So I want to make sure that you know that, and they have special times for that. Let me take a quick break, tell you about one other thing when we get back, and then we can move on to the news. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Yeah. family. Welcome back to the program. Clearly, somebody is having a Bob Marley moment. Make sure you go check out the film. Go see it. Support it. So real quick, somebody sent me a text message asking if I could repeat the information for the Milwaukee County Dine Out program. I'll tell you what. So there is two things. There's a phone number, and I'll give that out: 414-289-6995. You can also learn more about it at the county.milwaukee.gov/aging. So county.milwaukee.gov/aging. And again, just very briefly, they have the ability for folks that are 60 and up to be able to go to local minority-owned restaurants to have either breakfast or lunch. Rise and Grind, you can go there on Mondays from 8 to 10 a.m. That's on King Drive. On Wednesdays, you can go to Orinda on the south side, National Avenue, and Antigua, which is a Latin-inspired kitchen offerings. That's on Wednesday as well for lunch and for breakfast. And then on Thursdays, you can go to Daddy's Soul Food and Grill over off of 27th Street from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for lunch. So again, if you want to learn more about this program, either call the senior dining office, 414-289-6995, or visit county.milwaukee.gov/aging. All right. So I said I want to tell you about one other quick thing before I start talking about some of this national trifliness that's going on. Woo! There is a program that was recently announced by MPS, MATC, and the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. But when I tell you, when I was sitting and I saw the story play out on the news, like literally my heart just soared, because it's the opportunity for our children to be able to go to college. One of the things that I harp on is that frequently we tell our kids, do everything you can, get good grades, take your butt to school, focus, sit down, get all this information that you can, so that you can have a different trajectory in life. Now, whether that is a technical college, that's a 4-year college, if you go into the trades, whatever you do is going to require some additional training and or education, combination of all. So, a new program that aims to boost the number of Milwaukee Public School high school students who go to college has been created. It's called the Milwaukee Direct Admit Program. It is being spearheaded by the 3 largest public education institutions. Again, MPS, Milwaukee Public Schools, MATC, Milwaukee Area Technical College, and UWM, my alma mater, the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. They are trying to turn the dream of going to college into a reality, regardless of your family's ability to pay. Through Milwaukee Direct Admit, high school juniors attending any MPS school can apply to the 2 largest colleges in Milwaukee in less than 5 minutes, completely free. So you can apply to MATC, you can apply to UWM at no cost, because frequently when you apply to college, there's an application fee. The program wants to eliminate the barriers that prevent students from applying and being accepted into institutions of higher ed. There's a focus on helping kids that are first-generation college students. So they've streamlined the process. Did you hear me say it takes 5 minutes to apply to either of these schools? You don't have to attach essays or letters of recommendations and a lot of those things that you traditionally had to do. It allows MPS juniors to apply. Okay. So if you have not looked into this, if your student is not talking about this, I'm encouraging you to reach out to your school guidance counselor, to reach out to your school administrators, even call UWM, call MATC, because understand this, there is no GPA requirement for these admissions, but seniors must graduate in the spring or summer of their final year of high school. No GPA requirements. So that child who has been, hit one semester, struggling the next semester, doing well, not so well. I got a 2.0. I'm not sure who's going to admit me. GPA is not a requirement. You are being given the opportunity to get in to both of these schools. So it doesn't eliminate tuition costs, but it sets you up to know, number one, know that you're going to get in, to be able to apply for financial aid. But a lot of those initial upfront costs that so many students run into problems with, you won't have those in terms of the application fees and that kind of thing. NPS students must apply by June 14th, and you should know something by September about whether or not um, you've been accepted and everything is going on that you need. But again, please, 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 please take advantage of this program. Help these children to get into school to further their education. We already know that the earning difference between someone that is trained or educated versus a high school student who's not received any additional education, it's a huge gap. It's a huge gap. So I wanted to make sure that people knew about that. All right. So let me get to the stuff that had me screaming on Thursday and Friday. I, while working, had the television on in the background. And I was watching the foolishness that was the Fonnie Willis uh, situation unfolding down in Fulton County, down in Atlanta, in which she was called to testify about this relationship with this brother. That's one of the lead prosecutors on the Donald Trump, case to try to steal the votes in Georgia. And they're trying to figure out whether or not the people that brought this case forward, if they can have Fonnie Willis removed as the prosecuting attorney. And something that got said that I had not clearly heard stated before was that if Fonnie Willis is removed, her whole office is removed. They've already secured convictions and or people pleading out in this ongoing case in which 19 people were indicted. There have already been convictions. Those people would have the opportunity to come back into court, possibly to say that the process was tainted because Fonnie Willis is alleged to have had a romantic affair with the lead prosecutor. What the folks that have brought this case forward have said is that Fonnie Willis hired this prosecutor so that she could directly benefit financially from the salary that he was being paid. Fonnie Willis makes like $200,000 a year. Now, this prosecutor, over the course of, I don't know how much time, because this has been going on for years, has probably made about $1 million in billable hours on this work. One of the things that was clear from the testimony that was provided is that this prosecutor is not being paid any more money than anybody else who would have taken this case. That Fonnie Willis actually tried to hire 2 other white males for this case. And the one is a former governor. And he sat for an interview and he told people, and he's a Republican, and he told people, no, I would not take this case because I have no desire to have my life upended. He knew that if he took the case, it would require him to have security because everybody connected to any of these Trump investigations received threats. We've seen the sisters go testify before Congress. The mother said, I can't say my name in public anymore. I had to move out of my home because these people showed up at my home. So the first guy that she reached out to about taking on this case as a special prosecutor, he said, no, ma'am. I've done that before in terms of having to have a security detail because the cases I was prosecuting were so high profile and so dangerous that me and my family's life were in danger. I don't want to do that again. And he listed some other reasons. Second person backed off for basically the same reason because everybody understood what it meant to be the lawyer leading the charge to basically, find Donald Trump guilty of a crime and possibly sending this dude to jail. People don't want to be connected to it because they see how Trump supporters and Trump himself attempt to ruin their lives, to defame them, discredit them, everything. So people don't want the drama. But the thing that got a lot of people, because Fonnie Willis was not supposed to testify. Fonnie Willis was upstairs. This was on Thursday. Fonnie Willis was upstairs in her office, and there were portions of the testimony that was provided by the lead prosecutor who they allege she has had this romantic involvement with. He's going through a nasty divorce, and so he's trying to figure out if Fonnie Willis and this guy were dating before she hired him or after. Fonnie Willis and the guy said after, and that he's not an employee. He's a contractor, so it's a different situation than if it was an employee. So there's a discrepancy. A woman who is now reported to be disgruntled was like the star witness for this team going after Fonnie Willis, and she said that the affair was happening beforehand. But everybody who knows the woman knows she has an axe to grind because she or her friend was fired by Fonnie Willis a couple of years back. So nope, people like her testimony is questionable. They brought in the lawyer, personal lawyer for the lead prosecutor, trying to ask him questions. Do you know whether or not they were dating beforehand? Because here's what they're alleging, is that Fonnie Willis hired her man so that she could financially benefit. And right now they figured out that they've taken some trips together and that he probably spent about $4,600 buying her plane ticket and something else. And people are like, so wait, you want me to believe that a woman that makes $200,000 a year cannot afford her own $4,600 plane tickets? And Fonnie Willis says, I paid him back in cash. I don't let men take care of me. In fact, one of her lines that I have now committed to memory and will be seared in my brain forever was this stinger right here. A man is not a plan. He's a companion. Let me say that one more time. Because as they tried to paint Fonnie Willis out as some chick who needed to be kept, and have some man financially look out for her. But I make $200,000 a year. I've been the district attorney for 4 years. I've almost made $1 million in 4 years. But y'all think I got to hire somebody so that I can directly benefit from the salary that we paying or the contract fees we paying him. And so Fonnie Willis was like, let me help you, to the person that was asking her the questions. I can't speak for other people. I can't tell you what other women do. But let me be clear, when it comes to Fonnie Willis, a man is not a plan. He is a companion. I don't need a man to take care of me. I do well by myself. So if me and the brother went out and he picked up the tab, I reimbursed him. Well, do you have proof that you reimbursed him, Fonnie Willis? Do you have, receipts? Can you show us? She was like, I paid him back in cash. Because number one, we ain't talking about no huge sums of money. A dinner here, a plane ticket. And Fonnie said, at any given time, I got between $1,000 and $15,000 in cash at the crib. And they literally scoffed at the idea that a Black woman could have that much cash on hand. Like $15,000 is a whole bunch of money. But if you make $200,000 a year, you making $15,000 in 2 weeks. That's like a 1 month. That's a 1 month check. This is not a ton of money. But when it comes to Black people, $15,000 sound like $1 million because y'all just don't think Black folks can have that kind of bread. And Fonnie Willis goes on to say, my father always insisted that we have cash. On Friday, her dad ends up coming in and offering testimony to that exact effect. I raised my child. to understand the value of cash. It now becomes a cultural moment and conversation laid open for white people to see and understand. In Black households, cash was king. Up until recently, I remember having a conversation with a very wealthy friend. And one time he said to me, that's crazy because I done got so comfortable using these white folks' banking systems, I don't have no cash at the house. If something jump off and I need to access my money ASAP or some money quickly, I got to wait to go to the bank. And he was like, I'm getting caught up. I got to because this not what we do. This goes back historically to how Black people were handled. So you had banks that were denying you loans to buy homes. You couldn't get credit cards. You was getting played on the interest rate trying to buy your car. You wanted to be able to prove that you could afford to get whatever it was. So you didn't want anybody questioning your credit worthiness. So you wanted to let people know, I can pay for this right now. I remember taking my former mother-in-law, Florence Howard, who was a housekeeper. This woman was a housekeeper. All of her adult life, she was a housekeeper. But I took my former mother-in-law, who is deceased now, so I could tell her business. She called me one day when I was at work. And I said, hey, Mom, what's happening? She said, I need you to come take me to go handle some business today. And I said, okay, no problem. So I took off work that, for the rest of the afternoon because she didn't call. So whatever she wanted, I knew I needed to do it because she wasn't frivolous. If she said, I need you to come do something, that meant she needed you to come do something. So I go. She said, I need to go buy another car today. I said, okay. She said, I want you to take me and I want you to negotiate the deal. I said, not a problem. We stopped by the bank first and we hit up her safety deposit boxes. She had 5 of them. One for each one of her children and then one for herself. She had 5. We pulled money. I was standing in the back in the room when we pulled money out of the pile, and it was in aluminum foil stacks. When you first pull the tray out, the safety deposit boxes out, and you lifted up the thing, all you saw was aluminum foil. I was like, what kind of ET foolishness is going on up in here? I didn't realize that every one of those aluminum foil little packets had $1,000 in each one of them. She told me to take 25 out. At that moment, when I'm taking out these 25 stacks of aluminum foil things, I don't know that it's $1,000 in every one of them. I take the 25. She said, put it in your bag and let's roll. We go to the car dealership. She loved Caprice Classics. That was her joint. She was buying the more updated version of the car she already had. She already had a Caprice Classic. She wanted another one, but she wanted the newer one. She said, negotiate my deal. And she just had on she looked like Bill Cosby when Bill Cosby said he was going to buy a car. He didn't want the dealership to think he had too much bread. He was a doctor. He had overalls on, his jeans. That's how she looked coming to go buy this car. Just casual, like she was getting ready to run to pick and save. We go and sit in the office and I negotiate the deal for the car. I got it for $19,000. Okay. It's a new car. So we do what we need to do. And then we get to the part where the guy says, well, how do you plan to, pay for this? Are you going to be doing a loan or blah, blah, blah. She said, Michelle, take that money out and pay that man. It wasn't until that moment that I realized what was in them aluminum packs. I peeled off 20 stacks from a housekeeper and paid cash for her car. That was one of the lessons that white folks got during this Fonnie Willis testimony. Why people tried to sit there and question, do we use cash? It was because we had to, because no one would give us credit. And those old people passed that down to us. And if you are of a certain age, you still do that. I keep cash. I gotta take a break. I'll be right back. All right, folks, welcome back to the show. Taking a minute to discuss the testimony and all of the drama unfolding down in Fulton County surrounding Fonnie Willis, the district attorney prosecuting Donald Trump and 18 others that were involved in trying to steal the election in Georgia. Just to simply put it that way. And what has been done to try to discredit Fonnie Willis. Byron Allen was recently at a event around DEI, and he was talking. And I need to be able to pull the clip up because I like it, and I would love for people to hear it from him. But he talks about there are 4 Ds that people of color have traditionally run into. And it was interesting because when he was making his comments, he said, and Black women in particular see certain elements of this more so than others. And those 4 Ds, the first one, dismiss. You see something going on and you flag it like, yeah, this is out of order. And you start raising, concerns and questions like, uh, does anyone else see this or realize that this is a problem, or I want to flag for you that this is going on? And people are like, oh, it's not, that it's not racist. It's not, sexist. It's not an issue. It's not what you think. So from dismiss, that first D, they escalate to the second D, which is discredit. Well, I mean, she's just overly sensitive. She's overly aggressive. Um, you know, she's looking for an issue. So they begin to discredit you. She's not that qualified, and that's why she's having the problems that she's having, or he, because it was applicable in general to Black people. But he did single out the way it definitely can happen for Black women. Then he went to the third D. So the first D, dismiss. Second D, discredit. Third D is now to demonize. She's horrible. He's awful. He's abrasive. He's rude. I think he might have even been doing misappropriation of funds. He's lazy. He doesn't come to work. She's combative and argumentative in the workplace. She's a troublemaker. She is the litigate queen.
Don't forget toxic.
Toxic. Mm-hmm. But you can have all those. They demonize you. And then the last D that Byron Allen talked about in this DEI discussion he was having, the last D. So remember, first D, dismiss. Second D, discredit. Third D, demonize. The last D is destroy. They seek to destroy you. And I'm going to tell you, in watching the career of State Senator Lena Taylor, I have seen all 4 of those Ds. Former state senator. I've seen all those Ds. And even with the appointment onto the court, I've seen those Ds. And in some cases from judges that's down there in that very building who have tried to question, discredit, demonize, because they don't like that she's there. Some actual judges. And one of the things that I'm saying is, because see, people talk down there. And people always going to make sure I know what's going on because they know me and Lena tight. And they worry. And so people, the first thing I said is, if that's how you treat somebody who's never done anything to you, how do you treat the people that come through your courtroom? If you're willing to be a jackass to a colleague, how do you treat people that come into your courtroom? Now, I haven't talked to Lena, because she a judge now. It's a different kind of conversation. But people talk. People pay attention to body language. And there were people within our own community who didn't know that this girl was a lawyer for 30 years who questioned, how can you have this job? And should they be paying you this much money? Like a Black woman shouldn't be able to make $150,000 or $70,000, whatever the money is. But a Black man with a high school diploma can make $180 and don't nobody say a damn word. So one of the things, as people were watching what was unfolding to Fonnie Willis, was very different reactions from different segments of the community and different segments of the country. Men thought Fonnie Willis was doing too much, saying too much. She was emotional and lacked discipline. Women understood that they had come for Fonnie Willis, had said some disparaging remarks. Fonnie Willis was pissed off, and Fonnie Willis came unexpectedly to testify, to speak up for herself. And you could tell, because when I looked up and I saw her, because she caught everybody off guard when she came into the courtroom, it was like, Fonnie, breathe. Like when y'all call me and be like, breathe, Michelle, it was Fonnie, breathe, babe. Because the way she sat in that chair, you knew she about to snap. She's about to snap. She could barely contain herself. She was so mad sitting in that chair because they said stuff like, you know, she asked to live at her friend's condo, and like she was some kind of freeloader, and just all kind of. Fonnie was like, that's not how this went. So she kept looking for opportunities for clarification, but she was hot. So she was trying to be composed, but it was not any question that she was on fire in terms of being upset. The goal was to discredit her, to demonize her, and ultimately destroy her. Because on all sides. Because remember when she made the decision to prosecute in the first place, and she decided how many people she was going after? Political pundits, critics, TV observers. Well, does Fonnie Willis really know what she's doing? Should she have taken this approach? I don't think it was a good idea. She really can't get these prosecutions secured. Where did she go to law school? What's her educational background? How did she get this job? And so Black women all over the country have been weighing in on the fact that remove the concept that she had a relationship with this district attorney, which they both say happened after he had been brought on. It lasted for a short period of time, and then they have moved on. Sisters across the country have said, been there, done that, seen that, used to that. Because of how you think about how this woman is being crucified. But we got the hush money case of the former president of the United States paying off, I'm in love with a stripper, $130,000. And like, that's no big deal to the good boys and girls that want to return him to office. Like, did y'all hear the background? I'm in love with a stripper. Did you hear the background music? Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. That they tried to imply that, yeah, she had sex with this man on the very first day. I mean, when I tell you Fonnie Willis was on fire, and women understood it, Black women in particular. So men and women walked away with very different views about what had transpired. Now, I knew she shouldn't have been on that stand at that exact moment. She needed time to get herself together, because when you are angry or frustrated, it won't come off necessarily the way you needed to. Because at one point she said something about, she was trying to recount how many times she had been out with him and, who paid or what trips. And she said, yeah, we went to go see my sister and her man. And I was like, okay, that was hood to death. Not we went to go see my sister and her man. I was like, okay, Fonnie, you calm down, babe. But I understood it, because your academic ability, your professional insight and ability, your money management skills, everything is being called into question. You really are not worthy of this job. You really don't have the mental capacity to do this work. You sleeping with somebody so they can take care of you, and you use this job to be able to financially line your own pockets. Like, all of it, and she said it at one point in the testimony, all of this is offensive, intrusive, and personal. So I don't know, and I'm gonna get to the phone lines so I can hear from you guys. But so there is now the decision about whether or not this judge is going to remove Fonnie Willis from this case. But again, I gotta hear the other part of this. If they remove her, they remove everybody associated with her, which means the Fulton County DA's office. I've only heard one person say that. I've not had the time to dig into this myself to figure out how much of that is accurate. But when I tell you, Fonnie Willis handled this on her own terms. And while I would like to think I would have been a little bit different in terms of not being visibly mad. Hell, I be visibly mad on the radio, and y'all listening. Y'all not even watching me until now. Carvey then came in here with this nonsense. It got people all in my grill while I'm talking, but y'all could hear it through the radio. Like, Michelle, calm down. Let me hear what y'all got to say. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello.
Hey, Michelle.
Hey, good morning.
All the time, Michelle. And so what, right? You know, if that's your personality, Michelle, that's your personality, Michelle. That's you, and you're not gonna change that. So be you. And here's the part that I don't understand, Michelle. Why can't you be like that? White folks can be mad all they want to, and they get a pass. Look how Donald Trump's lawyer. Oh, I hate saying that man's name. Look how 45 lawyer, that female chick, and how he was acting in court. But that was cool for them, right?
Right.
So, you know, that just makes me mad. The angry black man, the angry black woman, they can get as angry as they want to. They can go tear the Capitol up, and it's cool, you know. But let us have done that. It would have been bodies laying around, and that's just making me mad. And you know, I watched The Color Purple yesterday, and you know, one of the lessons I learned from that.
What's that?
Black women stay in your place. What place? You know, like you was telling me last week. What place? You know, I got to do what? Be a servitude towards you. You better move around. You know, just watching that, you know, it's just like, what are we doing to our black women? What are we doing to our black queens? And so, what if she has sex with the dude on the first night? Whose business is that? All this is ridiculous to me, Michelle. It's just stupid. It just makes me angry. You talking about black angry man? I'm angry. This so what?
Yeah,
so you trying to say whether I'm your boo or we just friends, or I just want to say, hey, Michelle, no sex is violence. Let me just, you know, let's just go on a trip. What's wrong with that if I want to pay for that? See, that's what I don't understand, Michelle. I got you. Michelle, don't worry about it. Don't you and some of your girls and some of your, it's like, hey, Michelle, let's go here. I got you. Don't worry about it. I got all expenses. What's wrong with that?
Right.
That's what I don't understand about all of this. That
No,
she had
like,
to pay back.
Yeah, no. And I mean, and thank you for the call, bro. I appreciate it. Because the whole thing is these people are pulling at any thread possible to get this case kicked and, you know, to keep any of this from moving forward. But make no mistake, it resonated with a lot of people that the way they took the focus off of what Donald Trump and his people had clearly done that were clear criminal violations to trying to put Fonnie Willis on trial. And she had moments when she had to tell people, like, I'm not on trial. You trying to put me on trial, but I'm not on trial. Your client and your people is on trial. And just that frustration at having to go through all of that, you know, it's just and then I was so mad because I was watching MSNBC and there's a black woman who got locks on there, Myra Wiley or whatever her name is, Wiley. So she was on there when Ari was interviewing her as a part of a panel, had this other white guy on there, two white guys and Maya. And one of the white guys talked about where did she get $15,000 from? And, you know, that's a lot of money. Where did she get that from? Yeah, she's been a district attorney for 4 years, but where did she get $15,000 from? And I looked at Maya Wiley's black behind sit right there and not say a word. She did not say a word. Like, why was a black woman who was in possession of $15,000 a big deal? She didn't say a word. And it reminded me of when my son had his bank account closed at U.S. Bank because he withdrew either $3,000 or $4,000 from his account and wouldn't tell the teller what he was getting ready to do with his money. U.S. Bank right down there off of Plankinton by Grand Avenue Mall. And I had to go in there and speak to the manager, like, because I knew him. And I was like, that was my child. Oh, we didn't know. We'll open the account. No, we don't need to reopen it. We need you not to treat people like that. This boy is college educated and work, but I don't care if he wasn't. He work his butt off every day. How dare you ask him what he getting ready to do with $3,000 or $4,000? How dare you? And when he refused to tell you, y'all closed his account. That's what they did at US Bank. Another reason why we keep cash. Because I got to explain to you what I'm getting ready to do with my money, but a white boy could have came in there, withdrew $3,000, $4,000. Like that's a whole hell of a lot of money. And nobody would have did nothing but say, here you go, sir. How would you like your money back? And have a nice day. But this young black man walks in. You don't see college educated. You don't see corporate. You don't see none of that. You just see a young black man and say, what you going to do with this money?
Bottom line is, I put it there.
That's what you would think.
No, that's bottom line.
And when he didn't answer it, he got a letter saying they closed his account. They gave him the money he wanted, and then a week later sent him a letter saying your account has been closed. And then you wonder why we got cash at the house. I got to take a break. I'll be right back.
WNOV.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. Dion texted me and said, "We can't see you, but I hear your nails clicking on the table." Let me see. There they go. There they go. But you can see me. How can they see us, Keon? Where do they go? I need that on YouTube or Facebook. 860 AM. WNOV. So YouTube or Facebook, 860 AM, WNOV. And you can actually see me wear my black Nike hat every day because I refuse to comb my hair at 6 o'clock in the morning. But you said you can hear my nails. That's so funny. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's hot? What's happening?
Good morning, Michelle. Good morning,
Good
Keon.
morning. Good morning.
What an exciting time watching Bonnie on trial, testifying to defend herself. And they had to have caught her off guard because the way she was dressed, it was like, okay, that distracted me for a microsecond. But when she got up there and defended herself.
Well, wait. What was wrong with the way she was dressed?
Oh, come on. When she got up, walked up, telling her, what's with them underwear? What? Stuff wasn't fitting right underneath the dress, okay? Go back and take a look at it. And I know she can get sharper than that, but she did not have intentions on testifying. But let's get past all that. Because that was grace under fire, handled very well. And if I were to go to any law firm, get any lawyer, I'd want somebody that I know is going to be defending me like she's defending herself. And I'm so embarrassed of our country. We talking Uber rides and $3,000 and all this piddly money when this man is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars doing all kind of unjust things. And we gonna waste time and all them lawyers. But I did like what the judge did on a couple of them, asking the same question. How you gonna have all those lawyers in there that they're not gonna be tripping over each other, asking the same question? And what were they, retired lawyers? None of them look like they were the cream of the crop lawyers because we can't afford all that anymore. But my thing is this: the lawyer that defends the Me Too women, she's aggressive, she's mean, she's tigerous. Have they gone after her for anything? But she hasn't handled a case going after a former president. That is the only thing this is about. And I'm praying, Christians, let's pray. Those are the ones that really trust and believe in the Lord, that he do not remove this woman from this case. Because what she's doing, it's detailed, it's documented. It don't have nothing to do with who she's dating. That's full of bull crap. They just grasping at something. And let me get back to the money situation. Our country, back in 29, there was a stock market scare. And then in the 1930s, there was a bank panic. And people start getting their money out of the bank. From that time on, people have been keeping money at their homes, okay? And right now, people are not trusting what's going on, and they're keeping money in places that are safe. Don't tell everybody your business, okay? But yes, my parents have always said, keep cash on hand to do something. You never know what might happen in the middle of the night. Something might go on. You may have to get on the road, go to some place, and you want to have cash money on hand, okay? Because like you said, they weren't giving us all credit cards. And I want to tell you about another thing. If you have an annuity and you want to go get money from that annuity, and say like you transfer some down and you tell them, just give me a check, I'm going to deposit it in my account. So I don't do, and I'm going to tell you another thing, people, don't bank all at one bank where everybody know all your business. You bank at one place where you're doing this, that, and the other. And I know it probably fascinates people when you bank at this bank and then you go and you deposit $3,000, $4,000 in the bank. They want to know, where did you get this money from? And that's why I like to show them with a check sometime from my annuity going into that account, so that when I do come with that kind of money, they're not shocked. And I'm going to tell you, when I went to draw out $4,000 from a very well-known place that I banked at, and the young kid didn't look like he was 29. He's going to say, what are you going to do with this money? I said, well, please give it to me in this denomination. And I know they wasn't, and I've been banking with them for over 35 years. They didn't close my account. And I don't want you questioning But you know why they do it? I guess I was older, and they didn't want this. They didn't want me to be giving this
Scammed.
money to someone.
Right. To be
You know?
seniors being scammed.
Right. Okay. Right. So that's why I didn't get real mad at him and let him know I'm going to do what I want with it. And he gave it to me, and I didn't have no problem with it. Then I thought about it. I'm older because I was remember being at First Wisconsin on Capitol, and this older white lady came in there, and man, she must have asked for a lot of money. And they had to get one of the bankers off the side to come over there to get her. And the line was really long, and I don't like the lines being that long because everybody know your business. They can tell when you're getting a lot of money because they're counting it out, and some count real loud, okay? Which I think is stupid. And I was a member of a big, well-known church, and it was a teacher there that got scammed coming out of the bank. A man asked her something, and she gave him her money. I remembered that as a teenager. So I happened to be going to the bank, and I wasn't a senior then. I was maybe in my 30s. And this man was asking me I said, I don't know no direction. I don't know where you catch the bus. And I just left. And so when I got in the car, the man stood there and he looked over at me like, what fool was that? Because I remembered I didn't want him to say something to me, and I would give him the money that I had on me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I got you.
Okay, but I'm just saying, we have to be smart. They own us. They own you if you're educated. They own you if you're not. So be who you are. And I'm going to tell you another thing. When people, just like yourself, they already know what you're going to take. And just like that lady on that show, she's so glad to be on that show, she's not going to antagonize nobody. And that's why they put her there. They're not going to put somebody there like you that's going to say, what's up with that? They're going to put the mealy mouse there that's scared of their own shadow and don't know how to pull others up. And that's all I got to say. Hey, be who you are. Know that they're dealing with somebody now. And I'm going to tell you the next thing. They're supposed to be superior to us.
Okay.
And what did they do? They let a white man come in and change their whole ideology. Who's smart and who's not? Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
And another thing. But before I go,
What'd you say? She a pastor.
She a pastor.
We got another caller. Hey, caller. Well, thank you for those comments. We got another caller. Hey, caller. What's happening?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Another pastor.
I wanted to call in and comment on the judge. I mean the prosecutor. Listen, this is the problem that everybody's having with her. Is that if you've ever been a witness or you've ever had to groom a witness, the first thing you tell them is to hold your composure. Don't show any signs of frustration. Everything that she's told other people not to do on the stand, she's doing it. Now, daddy is an old vet. He come right in, play the game.
Well, wait. Just first thing first. They always say doctors make the worst patients. Lawyers clearly make bad witnesses. I believe that. But she also had not planned to testify. She was upset and decided to come downstairs and make herself available to testify. So she went off script. So it wasn't that she just came in uncomposed and raggedy. There was something that went on behind it. It wasn't like she was expecting to be on trial and put that performance out there. She was not expecting to be on trial. Not on trial, but to testify. Go ahead, please.
This is I'm glad you said that, because this is the exact example of a client that the lawyer done told stay away from the stand, don't do it, but he wants to express himself, sort of like Donald Trump. She didn't want to
express herself. She wanted to defend herself. It's a difference.
Well, that's the same thing.
It's not. But go ahead.
It's not?
No, because I can express myself and not have to be defending myself. I can express myself on what I feel about red light traffic cameras. Defending myself is something very, very different. So she came downstairs Yes, it is. Because she came downstairs to defend herself against accusations against both her personal character and trying to basically steal money from Fulton County taxpayers.
So let me say this to you. How do you defend yourself without expressing yourself? Please tell me that.
But that's because you can use one to do the other. It does not mean that they are the exact same thing. So I know you feel like you just like drop the mic, but you didn't, bruh. Pick it up. Because if you go look it up, it has two very different definitions. Let's look up the definition of express, and let's look up the definition. So that means it's different. If it got two different definitions, that means it's different. They are not synonyms. They're not synonyms. They're not synonyms. But go ahead. What else you want to? What else you got to say? I ain't got time to educate you all morning. What else you got to say?
But how do you? But I would like to know, how do you defend yourself without?
Again, bruh, you can do two things and they still not mean the identical thing. Expressing yourself and defending yourself. Don't call on Keon. Fight your own battle. Don't try to get nobody to tap in for you. Handle it, champ. Come on with it, bruh. You ain't got nothing? I gotta go. Thank you. Let me go to the next caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, Michelle.
Hey.
I like Fanny. I love that lady. Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you.
You and this rapper called Piles. If y'all have not seen this rapper by the name of Piles, who put out a post on Fonnie Willis. Oh my God, it's the best post ever. He was like, "Yeah, I'll pay her. I'm coming for her." It is so funny. But go ahead. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, I like her. Stand up. That's a strong woman. Stand up. And you let them know it ain't nothing you can do. All that inferior, no, that ain't true. Ain't no inferiousness happening. They know they can't compete, and they tripping about pennies. When I get up in the morning, I don't spend about 15 G's if I was sleeping. Nah, they need to stop playing. When I go to the bank, I don't go in there and ask for no money. 2 days ahead, I order about 10 or 20 racks, and I want brand new money, punks. Don't play with it. Nah, y'all little people playing with the little money. Hey, when you need one, y'all banking with these little banks. I bank with the $1 million bank. Y'all don't know about that bank, do y'all? See, when I call, I need 100 G's, and when I come get it, I want it brand new. Ain't no questions, ain't none of that. If I was you and they done your son like that, I would have sued him. Don't question me about what I'm doing with mine. You owe me. I'll take all my money out your bank, punks. Hey, for real.
Thank you,
bro. That's how you have to treat them people.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate the call. Thank you, bro. Woo. And Carvio here to myself, you mean Plies? I said Piles, my bad. Talking too fast, so he laughing like Michelle having a senior moment over here.
Her work husband, they got into it. Got to stay on your toes.
Look,
was going.
Okay, let me keep going. So let me switch gears for a second because I have to bring in the $355 million. And shout out my girl Letitia James, because when I tell y'all, when I first got put up on Tish James, I said, y'all, remember, I literally sat at this station and I said, remember her name. Excuse me, sorry. Remember her name. Letitia James, the Attorney General for the state of New York, and Donald Trump. And the civil fraud case of him lying to banks and financial institutions and the federal government, quite frankly, to be able to curry favorable interest rates, to be able to, inflate property values so he could get larger loans. Like, for example, this is a hypothetical, but it illustrates the point. He owns a building in New York that has 20 stories. He puts on the application for the paperwork for the loan. It has 35 stories. He triples the size of his penthouse and then tries to act like it was a clerical error. I mean, they just randomly lied willy-nilly and said whatever they wanted to be able to either pay less or pay more. I mean, and to pay less in taxes or get more in financing for these properties. I mean, they got them dead to right. They got the paperwork, they got the proof of the over evaluations and inflated prices that he tacked on to real estate worth. I mean, like, they got it all. dead to right. And they made loans. People made loans to him based on this fraudulent information. And his team at one point tried to say, well, okay, so what if he did it? Nobody got hurt. Nobody got shot. Nobody died. So what? And people was like, you cannot do it. Well, the banks didn't come after him. Yeah, but it's public trust. I represent the people of New York. I'm not here to represent the banks, Deutsche Bank and other banks that you lied to, to get these significant amounts of money from us. I'm not here for them. I'm here for the people of New York, because if we allow businesses in New York to operate in this fashion, and some of y'all don't pay these loans back and you default on these loans, that stuff eventually ends up getting passed on to everyday consumers. So we can't have that. You can't just make up stuff and turn it in, and be like, yeah, my house on Sherman Boulevard is worth $3.8 million. You don't get to do that. And I need to get a loan based off that value. And then people drive up and be like, this house right here, this right here, that's about $180,000. This $200,000 house. You said it was worth $3.8 million. And so the the attorney general had asked for like $385 million by way of a penalty for Donald Trump. The judge in the case granted $355 million. You couple that with the $86 million that E. Jean Carroll has caught from this dude, of which the bulk of the money, E. Jean was only going to get $5 million. But because Trump didn't know how to shut up and have self-control and discipline, and had just kept, in your face with the court, they penalized him to the tune of $80-something million because you don't know how to keep your mouth shut. And so when people talk about Fonnie Willis's behavior, talk about this clown who loses $80 million plus because you have no discipline and they have warned you about your behavior. But you're going to be the president of the United States, but you so uncontrollable and so not in control of your emotions and your behavior that you cost yourself $80 million. But we're going to let you have the nuclear codes. We're going to send you out into the world to represent us. Because they told you. And I know the conversations they had to have with him behind the scenes. Like, look here, fam. This man is not playing with you. You need to stop. And this ignoramus goes forward and does it anyway. He got to put all that money up. He got to put it up. It's not like, oh, while I appeal, I don't have to pay. Oh, no, you got to pay it. It's going to sit in an account and it's going to gain interest. So the longer you take to fight it, every day, I don't know how much interest is gained on $80-something million a day. But I know I wouldn't want that. Then you turn around and now you got $355 million that's been ordered by the judge in this fraud case, this civil fraud case. And then a judge comes forward in the hush money trial and says, oh no, that case is moving forward. We're going to start identifying jurors on March 25th. They busting this dude's head. And you got these people still trying to line up to figure out and twist themselves in knots. How can I support Donald Trump? How can I make him appear to be the best thing since sliced bread? He's a great businessman, but you just caught a $355 million fine for lying on documents. Your own CFO, chief financial officer, done went to jail on your back because of lying and nonsense on financial statements. But we still trying to figure out a way to prop this dude up. This is still the best that the Republican Party has to offer. Yes, Carvey asked me, did I see that he had come out with some shoes? There's this thing called SneakerCon. And Donald Trump is now selling the J6s, the January 6s, $399 a pair.
They're going to blow up. They're going to blow up like Yeezy.
So let me be clear. I don't know that a lot of the people that was up at the Capitol that day could drop $400 for some gym shoes. And they like gold and silver, some ridiculous looking color.
No, it's not them. It's the ones who like what it represented.
I get that part.
And the ones that think the gold and what?
But again,
what's the colors?
A lot of them people, it wasn't the wealthy Donald Trump supporters.
Watch
wasn't
how many
at the
black
Capitol.
people get them. You see them J6?
Yeah, Meech probably already got some. Meech, don't you have some J6s? I know you.
Hey, wait a minute.
I know you do.
They go with his Trump tight ass.
They can wear. Yeah, Meech, you bought the Donald Trump shoes.
Crazy, but my man was selling Trump tight caps.
Yeah, he really was.
Yeah, he really was.
So Meech can get the J6s. Like, just think about that, y'all. And then he got booed. He got booed at the little convention with the little sneaker heads. They was like, if you don't get out of here with this nonsense, let me pull up the picture of them, though. If y'all haven't seen them, y'all should pull up the picture. They call the January Sixers.
I'm see him down there black on the south side on 60th of
But and it's silly people. Like, y'all gonna just let Trump continue to pimp y'all. Like, y'all is out on the straw for this dude. I'm telling y'all, it's so crazy. But let me see. Where's the picture of them? Because they so hideous. Carvey said they look like wrestling shoes.
So Michelle, tell me if they match that.
If they match what? Yeah. I mean the colors, because they got a metallic.
Exactly. That's why they gonna bang.
Bang,
bang, bang.
Anyway. So yeah, yes, Carvey, thank you for bringing that up. Somebody said them shoes is whack. We didn't go back to whack. We didn't pull that out. But and he went to go hawk them and promote them. Like, you the cat trying to be the president of the United States, and you out here trying to sell gym shoes to support something that was the equivalent of, no, wait, I'm lying. It's not the equivalent. It was the attempt to overthrow the U.S. government in terms of our presidential election. This the man y'all break y'all neck trying to get behind. And then somebody said, and he's draining the RNC. They ought to be drained because they silly. You go along with this nonsense. That's why I keep looking at our mayor and our county exec like, y'all really thought bringing these bozos to town was a good idea so y'all can make a little change? All money ain't good money. Do you know how many cities are in this country that could have hosted the RNC, and all of them except for us in Nashville was like, well, we'll entertain it. And then Nashville finally said, man, we don't need them problems. We got tourism. We don't need them kind of problems. But no, the county exec and the mayor out on the stomp. Oh, this is great business for Milwaukee. We're going to just really do well. Going to get that little, residual money that'll go to the hotels and the restaurants. We're going to just going to make a lot of money off this. All money ain't good money. You got to know when to hold them. My Beyonce reference. I got to take a break. I'll be right back. All right, folks, welcome back to the last few minutes of the show. So somebody says, so you're okay with the DNC being here, even though they have circumvented democracy, not to mention this relief aid bill that passed the Senate. Hold on. That passed the Senate has a disclaimer for any president who comes after Joe can't withhold aid from Ukraine. Yep, that's how things work, huh? Don't play with me. Don't act like the DNC and the RNC is the same thing, because they not. The DNC is not here to spread hate. The DNC didn't come in to try to steal the votes of black people in this city in the last presidential election. Please don't act like it's the same thing. The DNC is not a part of getting rid of DEI initiatives, trying to get rid of affirmative action, trying to overturn Roe v. Wade. The DNC does not support any of that. So please don't compare one party who has a woman sexual assaulter, allegations of at least sexual assaults against 19 people as a party leader, who is responsible for increased activity amongst hate groups all over the country. Representative Justin Jones down in Tennessee just got done posting how he came out of a Black History Month event only to find the little crazy white boys out there with their red shirts on and they swastikas marching down the streets of Nashville. Please don't try to act like, or was it Memphis? Please don't try to act like it's the same conversation, because it's not. DNC, RNC. It's not the same conversation, bruh. I just can't even believe that you even tried to say that. These people tried to take over and overthrow the United States government and showed up with weapons to do it and trampled on and hurt people. And people died as a result of it. It's not a comparison. The DNC is not perfect by any stretch of the means. I'm one of the first people to say it. What's done around redistricting and all kinds of stuff, it's a pain in the behind. We always the last people at the table considered. I'm not here to defend the DNC, but what I will say, as just a black person paying attention with good sense that the Lord gave me, it is an incredibly marked difference between the RNC and the DNC. The RNC eat their own at the behest of Donald Trump. They literally turn. How did Paul Ryan go from being a rock star in this party to getting booed in his own state because of this clown who's not even a real Republican? The RNC has allowed itself to be co-opted by a straight up charlatan, a fake. That's why when they say, projection, and Donald Trump coined that word fake, because everything about this dude is fake. Fake business owner in terms of being successful. He was living off his daddy's money and daddy's work and has messed all of that up now. Fake married man, cheating on every wife, affairs all over the place. Fake real man, sexually assaulting women coming and going, 90 going north, 19 women stand up and say this dude has sexually assaulted me in some way. You really trying to compare the two? Stop it. Come on, fam. Like, come on. The RNC has become like where the weak go to kick it. Where real men go to die. That's the RNC. I need to come up with a clever acronym for what the RNC really means. Where when you a man, you turn in your testicles and do whatever Donald Trump tell you to do. And you a woman, you turn in your voice and be like whatever the king say, including the RNC chair, Ronna Romney. I'm going to stop using my family name that I've parlayed to get me where I've gotten in life because Donald Trump don't like my uncle. And I'm so weak in the head that I let this dude influence me not to use my family name. Sarah Huckabee Sanders did the exact same thing. That's the RNC. Please don't try to act like we're talking about the same thing. Someone said, he said, you're still asleep. The FBI orchestrated the January 6th. Boy, stop playing with me. Because if they did, it's Trump supporters that's in the FBI. It's Trump supporters that's in law enforcement. But you don't look at what happened and say what the FBI orchestrated. Look at what happened and say what Trump didn't orchestrate. He didn't orchestrate a response. He didn't call for help. He didn't stop what was happening from going on. People were calling him, talking about these people are trying to kill us. And he was like, well, maybe you should have been more loyal. No, the only person asleep is you, bruh. That's the only person that's asleep. Not only asleep, you delusional. You have straight up bought the Weilers. Keisha always corrects me because when Jim Jones got them people to drink that beverage, it was not Kool-Aid. It was Weilers, the cheap stuff. That's what you done did. You done drank the Weilers. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hello, Miss Michelle. It's good to hear you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Just a minute. Can you hear me? Good morning.
Good morning, yes.
Yes, ma'am. I'm calling to let you know, everybody know, that the postal is still in ballot. Out of your ballot, absentee ballot, they're still in them. Very bad.
Why do you say that?
They stole my ballot on Saturday.
How do you know they stole
it?
Who stole it?
Because when I opened up my ballot, it was no ballot there.
What?
It was nothing but an empty envelope. This is no lie. So I'm letting you know that's going on too. So you better be careful when you send your ballot back to the through the post office and send them to their they are still in ballots bad to cheat with them. So I'm letting you know this is going on.
All right.
And so people better beware of it. And they're gonna cheat with the deceased and the dismissed. So you'll be aware of it.
All right. Thank you so much for the call. I will certainly follow up on that. Somebody else just hit me up and said, good morning. There were 6 families on my block that had empty ballots. Our house also. So I need to call Claire and see what the hell is going on. This came from a school board member. There were 6 families on my block that had empty envelopes. It's always something. All right, family. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Key, appreciate you, bro. Carvey, appreciate you, fam. All right.